see me?
Yes, there you are.
Okay,
hello.
cool.
You're here with AAMIR.
Hi.
I shall disappear and leave you guys.
Yes, of course.
Hi, Parvez.
Hey, AAMIR, good to meet you. Very nice
Pleasure.
talking to you. So my first question, how did you get the idea for that movie? Because it's Forrest Gump in India, but about 28 years later after the original one.
Yes, yes. Well, I never imagined that I would do Forrest Gump as a film. I'd seen it in the 90s when it came out and I had loved it. But I never imagined it could be adapted to another culture because it's so intrinsically American in its culture. So when the writer who wrote the adaptation, Atul Kulkarni, who was a friend of mine, he mentioned to me that he's written an adaptation of Forrest Gump, I was really taken aback and I was very surprised. And to be quite honest, I didn't take him seriously. So because who tries to write an adaptation of Forrest Gump? And he said he did it in 2 weeks, which kind of threw me off. But anyway, I finally did hear what he had to narrate to me. And it's only when I heard that script that he wrote, that the adaptation that he wrote, it's only then that I realized that, wow, it's something so special. And he's managed to translate the film so beautifully into an Indian milieu and an Indian context and the culture of India that's coming through so beautifully. So it felt like an Indian film. I thought I was listening to a story which is Indian. And that's when I realized that, you know, this is something that I really love and I want to be a part of this and I want to do it. And that's when this journey began for us trying to get the rights for the film, which took us about 8 years. Yeah.
But it worked so well because as Forrest Gump takes some things from the American history, you put some things from the Indian history perfect in that movie and it fits together. So how much does this movie mean to you personally?
Well, I think that what Atul wrote as an adaptation is something that all of us fell in love with. And at that point, we had a vision in our mind of how the film is going to translate onto screen. And today, when I see the film, I think we've come quite close to what we intended to make. So I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. I think Advait as a director has done a wonderful job of making the film. And it's something that we've made with a lot of love and heart. And we really hope that it touches an audience's hearts the way it's touched ours while we were making it.
And you're not only the main character, you are also the producer of that movie. So is it even more stressful when you have also the financial thing to care about, or is it much more easier because you can decide whatever you want?
So, well, it's both ways. The responsibility grows dramatically and so the stress and the responsibility does grow on you. And it's much tougher to, and especially a film like Forrest Gump, which is very prep heavy and it's a very demanding film. So it doesn't matter what role you're playing in it, producer, actor, director, DOP, you could be anyone on this film. You can be sure it's going to be one of your most challenging films. And so I was playing two roles, one of the actor, one of the producers. And so it was really tough, but it was also very joyful and it was a big learning experience. I learned a lot. And yeah.
And what is also so fascinating, because you are 57 years old, but most of the time in the movie, you play a person about 25 years old. LAAL is about 25 years, I think, so most of the time. So how did you make that? Is it CGI? Is it makeup? Or is it maybe because you're looking so young because of good genes or anything? Because you're looking also good as well now.
Well, the fact is that we used VFX for the de-aging. And that was a big help from the physical point of view. But the biggest challenge for me was the mind, because I have to feel like an 18-year-old. I have to feel like a 20-year-old. I have to feel like a 25-year-old. And I'm in my 50s. And when you go through life, you accumulate so many memories and experiences and you learn so much from life. But when you're playing a character who's 18 and 20, you have to unlearn all of that. You have to forget all of that. You have to wipe your mind clean. And that was my most challenging thing for me to do, to try and become 18 in my head.
Great. And did you remember maybe some hard day on set? Because I'm collecting behind the scenes memories. Maybe some day something go wrong that should not go on because it's a big production.
Well, that happens all the time.
Stuff from behind the scenes.
No, that happened all the time. I think every film shoot, you can be sure that there is a crisis a day, and filmmaking is a lot about how you handle each crisis as it comes along. This was a particularly tough film to shoot. I remember the war sequence that we shot was up in the mountains in Kargil, and it's very high up. It's about 13,500 feet altitude, and there's very little oxygen over there, so it's very difficult to breathe. And you're advised not to run. You're advised to walk slowly. And here we were shooting at 13,000 feet, running up and down mountains. I'm carrying people running. So often at the end of the shot, I would be so, I just trying to pull in oxygen, and there was no oxygen for me to pull. I was like really struggling after the shot. So at times they had to give me help with an oxygen cylinder to just get my breathing back. Yeah.
Okay, and my very last question, because this movie is so well done, did you think it could maybe won for an Oscar next year for the best foreign picture?
Oh, no, I haven't thought of that. I know the original has won 6 Oscars, and so I mean, well, I just hope that people like the film, and I hope that we're able to make a place in the hearts of our audience. And I hope the film touches people the way it's touched us while we were making it. Yeah.
It touches people. Thank you so much. All the very best for the coming out of the movie. And maybe we see you at the Oscars next year, probably as the best foreign picture.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.